Yeah, legal methods, typical attributes of law and legal process, legal rules of society. Okay, fine. So we will see from unit 2 some questions. Yeah, we will discuss one question, relationship. Okay, discuss the relationship between legal rules and society. How is it that legal rules are related to the society, or how it uh, performs some function? Plus we also have one topic called law as social engineering. Is it done in your college? Roscoe
Yeah, ma'am,
Pound
it is done.
done.
Roscoe Pound is done. Sociological school.
Okay, fine, attributes of law. Fine, we will start with this. Okay, law as social engineering. Sociological school, correct. So human wants, wants has been increasing always, whether then or now. We always have some or the other wants, right? The necessity of balancing human wants and welfare of the society is very much needed, because in a society there are a lot of people who like who live, and all of the people have different interests, different likings, dislikes, etc. Right? So it's very much necessary that whatever human wants are, plus what is welfare of the society, there has to be a fair balance between the both. Right? Like if we talk about human wants, you may feel like, okay, I don't want to appear for any exams, I don't want to write any assignments, I simply want to just write the final exam. But maybe your want might not be, like it
Same as
has,
the other person.
yeah, other person, right? It might not be in accordance with what BCI would want, what the college or university would want, right? So it has to be balanced. It's not like every single day you need to write assignments, every single day you need to give exams, but yes, every subject you need to write at least one assignment. You would have some your mid-sem exam, final exam, right? So there has to be like a balance between both the two things, because there is differences in terms of ones, right? There may be some very studious student who would feel like, I don't mind having exams every week also, right? But there has to be a balance
Yes,
between
ma'am.
the both. Every human want cannot be fulfilled. It's not possible that everything would be fulfilled, because we have different wants, plus we have so many wants, right? We want this also, that also. It's not possible. So there has to be a balance between the two. These wants and desires has been termed as interest. So in this concept, law as social engineering, these wants, that I want this also, I want that also, it is called as interest. Like we have different interests. Okay, so like that, he has explained this theory, and it is explained law as social engineering. Wherever you see social engineering, you just remember Roscoe Pound. Okay, it is the theory given by him. Who is
Yes,
Roscoe
ma'am.
Pound? He is
In fact,
yeah.
this sociological school, I guess it will even come in the other. I don't remember exactly what is it. It will even come in the other unit also.
Other unit.
Also, I guess I'm not sure.
I think it's like unit 1 is like ideas of law. There you have all these different schools, and then I saw this question coming in from unit 2. So it's anyways entire subject you need to
Yeah,
study, right? So
yeah.
does not matter. Okay. So Roscoe Pound. Roscoe Pound was an American jurist, botanist, educator, and chief advocate of sociological jurisprudence. He was one of the main proponents of sociological jurisprudence as well. He was a leader in the reform of courts and administration in United States. And he gave this theory of interest, which describes law as social engineering. Now, what is this theory of social engineering all about? Social engineering has been termed as engineering because we are talking about society. We are talking about human want, human interest. Then what is the relevance of this word engineering here, right? Engineering, we otherwise think about maybe creating something, right? Constructing a bridge, maybe civil engineering.
Making a structure.
Yeah, structures, right? Maybe preparing like a software, computer engineer.
Planning.
Any example?
Ma'am, basically engineers, what they do is they plan how to build a building or they prepare a structure of it. So maybe it's like society structure, law structure, something
Hmm.
like that, which they're trying to tell that we are societal engineers or something.
Yes. So otherwise we relate them with some kind of creation and some preparing structure and stuff. But then why is it that in terms of society engineering word is being used? So social engineering has been termed as engineering because found compare work of lawyers to engineers in this balancing situation. What they do, this is something similar to what engineers do according to him. Actually, the work of engineers is to produce finished products into the society, which is based on continuous experimentation and experience. They learn, right? While constructing maybe a bridge, they would think about so many different situations, that if bridge is constructed in this way, is it going to create difficulty for these people, that people? Can we construct it in that way? Within how much time it should be done? Everything they need to plan, right? So it is nothing but result of continuous experimentation and experience. Same ways, the aim of social engineering is to build up the society by satisfying maximum wants and minimizing and minimum usage of resources. How is it possible that we can satisfy more number of wants that people are having with minimum resources? It involves the balancing of competing interests. You may have one interest, I may have a completely different interest, somebody else may have a completely different interest. So how is it possible that our interest, like interest of maximum people, may be satisfied? Right? That is nothing but the work that is done in social engineering, right? That law should try to satisfy maximum interest of, like, interest of maximum people.
Society of
Yes. The first word, social, which means a group of people forming a society. The second word states that engineers to produce finished goods based on continuous experimentation and experimentation to get the finished product by means of instrument or device. He classifies interest into three types. So how is it that we will be able to satisfy maximum interest? For that, he has classified interest in different classifications, basically. Private interest, public interest, and social interest. The aim of social engineering is to build as efficient a structure of the society as possible, which requires the satisfaction of maximum wants with minimum friction and waste. When you would have some private interest, right? You like something maybe, right? Maybe you want to play loud music at night and you want to work at night, right? That is your private interest. There may be some
but that won't maybe that won't be it won't satisfy the other person. It'll
yes.
satisfy me or it'll give me happiness, but it is not compulsory. It is not compulsory to satisfy the other person all around also.
Correct. That would only satisfy you or maybe 2, 3 other people. But more people are interested in maybe having a peaceful sleep at night, peacefully working at night. So would you compare, right? Which interest to be taken into consideration? We will take into consideration those interests which are giving maximum happiness.
Majority.
Majority, yes. We would go with the majority, that by this many people are getting satisfied with little bit of friction, right? With little bit of wastage, with little resources, we are making more number of people happy. So that one is what we need to go for, right? Because it's not possible that everyone's wants can be satisfied. So try to satisfy maximum number of people's wants, right? What majority wants, that we would try to satisfy. Same ways, when you look at different legislations that are passed these days, right? Whenever a new legislation comes, you would see people would start reading the legislation. In fact, not even legislation, at the stage of bill only, when it is introduced before parliament, that there can be so and so kind of a legislation. Right? Bill and legislation, are you aware of the difference?
Yeah, ma'am.
What is that?
Ma'am, basically, if the bill has to be passed, legislation has to make it, and execution should be done by the executory body.
Bill is like at the proposal stage.
Law, which is
Bill is kind of, you can
made.
say, draft law. Once it is approved and accepted, then it becomes the law.
So legislation will do that, and the executory body will execute it. And if legislation and execution have some problem, then they'll go to the judicial body.
Yes, correct. And in legislature, when law becomes, first bill will be introduced. If bill is accepted, it becomes the law, right? So when a bill is introduced, from that stage itself, people try to figure out, if this law is introduced, what would be the good things, what will be the bad things. That means they are again trying to see, is this law creating maximum happiness or maximum friction? Right? You must be remembering this farm bills which were introduced, right? Everywhere protests going on, people trying to figure out how it would be, it would create maximum friction again, right? Same ways, whatever law you take into account, like Citizenship Amendment Act, right? Aadhaar,
Yes,
NRC, every time, right? When a law is introduced, people would try to figure out, is it providing maximum happiness or is it going to create maximum friction? Based on that, we need to decide what is good and what is bad, right? So law plays a vital role in adjusting conflict of interest. Both social and individual interests coexist. Both of them have same equal priority. Roscoe Pound has given the idea of social engineering, taking into consideration the American society, but it has been followed worldwide. Even India has also followed it, forming a social welfare. Both judiciary and legislature plays important role in making the fulfillment of various desires of human beings. So for these new policies, new strategies were applied and have been developed. When we read a certain theory or philosophy given by a jurist, right? They have given it taking into consideration maybe one society or maybe one country, but one same, like the concept is also relevant for other countries. This entire theory was given keeping in mind the wants and situation of America, but then this concept even applies in India as well, right? Whenever some policies are being introduced, again, it would think about maximum happiness, right? Is it creating maximum happiness or maximum friction? Based on that, it would be introduced. Like we had this for this economically weaker sections, 10% reservation.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So like that, it would be introduced that there are a lot many people who are maybe so economically weaker and they are otherwise not falling into any of the reserved categories. So maybe we need to provide this certain provision to them, right? Like that, whenever a legislation comes, whenever a certain scheme comes, it would be, they would try to see how is it that we can balance this particular thing out. Okay, sometimes even if like a legislation is controversial, many people are not satisfied, not happy with it, still the legislation will be made. Why? Because it is providing maybe maximum happiness, right? It is good for welfare of the society. Like if you take the example of maybe death penalty, there are many countries where death penalty is being abolished. It is not practiced as a form of punishment. But in India, we have it, right? Death penalty or capital punishment.
Capital punishment.
Why is it there? Even in India, there are many people who do not support it. But then it's
because might be they consider it as equal as they did as they did some crime, because just because usually it's for murder, ma'am, right, ma'am? Am I right?
Murder, and there are some other crimes also.
And mostly I've heard of murder. So it's basically like if you take a person's life, even you're supposed to be like, even your life is supposed to be taken. It's something like that.
It is
tit for
like
tat.
tit for tat used to exist previously. Now we don't follow tit for tat. There are actually different theories we have now.
No, but this capital punishment, what I feel is capital punishment is basically like that if a person like he commits a murder or something, so then again his life is taken by sentencing a capital punishment, giving a death sentence. So
Okay.
it's basically a tit for tat. Just because you've taken his life, even your life is taken.
Okay. Actually, not like in all death cases death penalty would be given. It is given only in rarest of rare crime where it's like very heinous. Like one person killing 7 members of her own family in one single day. It's very serious.
Oh,
Their death penalty would be given. Okay, provision is there, but not in every single case death penalty is given. It is very rare. It's given in rarest of rare crimes because the concept that we follow at present is that there are 2 reasons why punishment is given. One is we want to reform the person. And another one is that we want to set as an example. Like if there is such a serious crime, we want to set it as an example that death penalty is what the punishment he has got. So better if you are also having some interest, yeah, people would be
alert or
scared, alert, yes. Right, so that is what the like the theory is at present. We have 2 theories. One is to set an example, another one is to reform the same person. That's only in rarest of rare crimes it is given. Now there are some people who are completely against death penalty. There are human rights organizations, they are not supporting it, but still it is there. Why? Because maybe it is needed in the interest of society, right? That if majority of it would create happiness for majority of people, right? They would also feel they would have trust in the judiciary, basically, right? That okay, this is the outcome that this person has got, maybe law still exists, kind of a thing. So they would try to balance it out, right? Interest of some people versus interest of the society. Okay, and whenever you see these kind of theories, even though it's developed taking into consideration one certain society, it's relevant for most of the parts. Okay, you would get some or the other example, and that's why we read these concepts also, right?